All right, Vincent. I want to begin talking about last season, your freshman season. Obviously, you fought through a lot of adversity. You fought through some injuries and things like that. Talk about that and talk about what it was like fighting through that adversity. And then you actually came on pretty late in the season to actually end the season on a high note.
Yeah, so I had an injury of a high ankle sprain, and I was out about 6 games with that. And then just the transition coming back from that injury, getting the confidence back, all the scoring touches, the passing plays, like everything, getting it all dialed back in. That was the tough part.
When you're in and out of the lineup and things like that, how hard is it to find consistency as a player?
I mean, I feel like that's the biggest word in college hockey. I mean, you see it with winning, with losing. It's just being able to be consistent throughout the whole season, and that's what sets you up for a good end of the season.
You use that momentum that you created there at the end of your freshman season, and this season, 6 games into the year, your team's sitting at 4-1-1. You're having just a really hot start, 4 goals, 2 assists to start your year. What has been the biggest change this year?
Well, just coming in and knowing that the team needs it. They need some guys to step up, and we lost a lot of our scoring last year, and probably about 45-50% actually of our scoring. So I mean, just having guys that are able to step up, be in the right place at the right time. I mean, that's the biggest key that I was thinking about coming in, and just being confident, taking, like you said, what I ended with last year into the season this year.
You guys have a very young roster this season. We talked about it before. I think you said 15 freshmen on the roster, but you said they are a mature group. Talk about the importance of that and, how you feel this team has kind of gelled early on.
Yeah, so we have a mixture of 15 freshmen and sophomore this year. I think that's the number that Grant told us. And just being able to find chemistry as early as possible, that's what gets you to the hot start. That's what gets you rolling as quick as possible. And I feel like that's been the key. First 2 lines, I mean, Nardi, Lochran, and Craighead have been playing with each other. They kind of played with each other last year, and they've been off to a great start as well. So, I mean, that's one of our biggest key.
You mentioned Grant Petulny, your head coach. He's responsible for bringing in a lot of the freshmen here, obviously doing a great job recruiting, really doing a good job building this program from the ground up. Talk about what he's like as a head coach. What are some qualities you like in him as a leader?
Well, the biggest quality that I like is giving everybody a fair chance. Like if you're performing, if you're doing everything well on the ice, performing during practice, then you'll get the chance during the game. And that's one of the biggest things I feel like in college hockey that's tough to find in a coach, is giving everybody a fair chance. So that's one of the biggest things I like in him, that he can lead that way.
You're a flashy player, I would say. I guess just seeing your highlights, you can really score from anywhere on the ice. If you had to describe yourself as a player, how would you describe that?
Well, I mean, I try to be a 200-foot player as best as I can, like doing stuff on the defensive end as well. Like I don't just want to pride myself on scoring goals and being an offensive guy. I want to be able to block shots, play hard-nosed hockey in the defensive zone. So, I mean, just putting everything together and try to be as complete as possible. That's my goal.
Like I mentioned earlier, you guys are sitting at 4-1-1 on the year, 6 games into it. You guys have played some really good competition, whether it be Michigan State, Boston University on the road. You just went down and swept Ferris, which, those are some quality opponents. How are you feeling so far this season? It seems to me that the sky's the limit for this group.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, especially going into BU, they had 12, 13 draft picks on their roster, which is incredible. We have 0. I'm pretty sure we have 0, yeah. But, I mean, it just shows you that character, hard work can beat some of that talent when talent doesn't work hard. That's one of the most cliche lines, but it's definitely the truth. So, I mean, we've come out really hot, and hopefully we can continue rolling.
Your schedule, it sets up really nice for you. You're playing the next 7 of 8 in front of your home crowd at the Barrie Events Center. How excited are you to finally come back home for a couple of weeks, play in front of your home crowd, and hopefully separate yourself in the standings and things like that?
Well, it's definitely nice on the bigger ice. I mean, I think we enjoy that, and it's hard for opponents to come in playing on an NHL sheet and move into Olympic ice. Our lungs are a little bit more prepared for that, which is good. But no, we're definitely excited to play the next 7 out of 8, like you said. And our student section has been revamped, and they're really excited for this year. I mean, when we keep performing, they'll keep showing up and cheering loud and getting us going for the games.
Talking to Coach Patulny the other day, he said, although you guys did come out with that win against Ferris in your most recent game, he thought it was the worst game your team has put together as a whole, even though you won the game. And that's probably just because of the fact that, you went up early in that one, you let them come back, and it was, probably a closer game than it should have been. And then even the game prior to that, falling down a few goals and having to fight back. So I think consistency is the word he's been using. He applauded your resiliency, but he wants to see a more consistent group. Would you agree?
Oh, 100%. I thought the same thing. I mean, even the first game was pretty rough. I mean, just finding that middle ground in the second period, that's our weakest period right now. So being able to, I mean, whether it be up or down, to just play the same way every single period and being able to finish out a game and not let in like 3-4 goals in that span. I mean, we're trying every single game to let in 2 or less. That's our big goal, and he always preaches that. But yeah, the biggest thing that he always preaches is that you need to get the win, and that's the ultimate goal. So,
the national rankings came out, the coaches poll. You guys are ranked number 20. You're on a list with obviously a lot of great programs. Are you keeping track of where you guys are on the rankings? Does that motivate the team, or is that something you guys like to focus on or anything?
I mean, not necessarily. I mean, we just focus on our game, and I mean, when you play good, you'll obviously move up in the standings. So it's something we look at for like half a day, like talk amongst each other a little bit, but then just forget about it and move on.
So you come to Northern Michigan from your hometown, which is Los Angeles, California. So you traveled a pretty long distance. Now, you didn't just come from Los Angeles to Marquette, Michigan. Obviously, you most recently played in Muskegon, but talk about the adjustment. You're living up here in the UP. It's snowing 8 months out of the year, a little bit of a contrast from what you're used to.
Yeah, which was, I mean, I like the snow, which is cool. But I moved away from Los Angeles when I was 13, so I went to boarding school for 5 years, so that was in Minnesota, so I got adjusted to the cold, which was good. But I like the snow, I like the weather, I like the people up here mostly, which is nice.
Obviously, Northern Michigan University, I would say hockey is the sport. Obviously we got a lot of great programs here, athletic programs, but hockey is the one where the community really, gets behind. They love to support the Wildcats. It's a Division I program. Talk a little bit about, just the support you guys get from the community and what it's like to just know that the residents here have your back, I guess you could say.
Yeah, I mean, it's huge. That's what keeps us playing hard. That's what keeps us going day to day, like practice. We think about it. We love doing community events because the community is always there for us. We always want to be there for them. And I mean, it's just been great since I've been here. It's like over a year now, obviously, because I'm a sophomore this year. But it's been great. I don't think it's really much better anywhere else. I couldn't ask for anything better from the fans, honestly.
What are some realistic expectations for this group? Personally, from an outsider's point of view, I feel like you guys can do big things this year. Do you feel the same way?
I definitely feel the same way. I mean, obviously the first goal is winning the WCHA and trying to edge out Mankato. Obviously, I mean, our top 3 teams in this conference are really good. I mean, us, Bowling Green, Mankato, I feel like are the top contenders, and I just feel like we should go into playoffs, hopefully win, and then try to get a bit at the tournament.
All right, Vincent, well, good luck this season. Thank you for sitting down with me, and we're going to be rooting you on as the season progresses.
Thank you so much.
All right, man.